Okay, we're live. So,
yeah, we're going.
Today, we have a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Damn special that one, isn't he? Oh, he's so damn special. He's just a special guy.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'd rather not. You do the honors.
This, everybody, is James C. Burns. You might know him as Frank Woods from the Black Ops series.
Sergeant Frank Woods.
Sergeant Frank Woods. Come on, Thomas.
Sergeant Frank Woods, my mistake.
So
An absolute beast of a man.
So sorry about him.
So is everybody else. All right, so is this an official start to our podcast? Is the podcast officially started?
Yeah. That's
right.
it. Yeah. We're going.
Well, it's great
You
talking
can't
to you
take back
guys.
anything you say.
Right. So, before the podcast started, you were starting a story, and we told you to save it for the podcast. So, why don't you continue with that for us?
Boy, at my advanced age, I can't remember things that well. Well, we had two things going. I was telling you about my adopted Aunt Alice and her ongoing case of Bud Light, and her people are from Kerry, Ireland. So I was talking about her, and then I was talking about Granny Bukowski. So basically, if you watch the live stream, I tell a lot of stories about my youth, and I was a hockey player. I played pro hockey for a few years. I was a coach for about 25 years before I really became an actor. And so I have a story about my grandmother, who's all of 5 foot tall. Remember the Mr. Potato Head dolls? Yeah, this big upper body with little stick legs. That's my grandmother. And she would waddle into the rink and smoking a pack of cigarettes. She'd talk like this. She's really tough Polish chick, right? Factory worker. And we're playing a game against a team from South Boston someplace. Tough kids, right? And it's a massive fight. It's juniors, so that means we're like 17, 18 years old kids. And this fight breaks out. And I'm wrestling with this guy, and we're throwing, left and right, and kind of grabbing each other. We're just kind of throwing haymakers, nothing too technical. It's like a melee, like it's like just a brawl. Everyone's fighting on the ice. So we kind of end up dancing our way over to the boards because he's taunting me, so I want to get him against the boards, so I got some leverage. So I'm throwing rights, and then he's throwing, and like all of a sudden I hear this voice like, "Kick his ass, Jimmy! Kick his ass!" And I look up, and it's my tiny Polish grandmother. She's like the size of like a leprechaun, And she's sitting there with her smoke, pulling it, "Kick his ass, Jimmy! Kick his ass!" And I'm like, and it was just relentless, the venom coming out of this tiny old woman. And me and the guy I'm squaring off with, we both started cracking up, going, "What the fuck is that?" That's my grandmother, man. He goes, "That's your what?" I go, "That's my grandma." I go, "Dude, she's cracking up." And man, it's like, that's how the fight had been. We just started cracking up. We just couldn't. We couldn't sustain the anger long enough not to laugh at it. I mean, it's just with a cigarette burning in a hockey rink, right? It's like 1,500 fans, and she's screaming, "Kick his ass! You kick his ass, Jim!" So what happened on the live stream was I've got this Buddha head that I have for I don't know what reason, and I've drilled a hole into it, and I stuck a cigar in it. So you guys can see it, right?
Yeah, we can see that. Yeah. And
so it just became an ongoing gag, and I think she talks to them. So I have a live stream. I talk to my fans. "Hey there, kick his ass!" So Granny's very popular, giving her opinions on things from the podcast. So, and the cigar is I use this. It looks like my grandma in my mind. So this is Granny Bukowski, and she's sort of Granny Bukowski, and she is she's the mascot for the live stream, so all of our merchandise has got her head with a cigar in it, and it's called Brew or Granny. So that's the Granny story. Kick his ass!
That's incredible.
And it's an ongoing theme on the live stream. People just arbitrarily yell out, "Kick his ass, Jimmy!" We all know what that is.
That is one of the best stories we've had on this podcast so far.
And we've had a couple. We've had a
I'm
couple.
sorry.
We've had.
I'm sorry
People
that
are super
that's one.
stories.
Apologies.
That is wow.
I've set the bar pretty fucking low, if you ask me.
Like, what were one of the other ones? We had someone who got they got high.
Yeah, I think we've told the bitch tattoo story at least 5 times to different guests. So we had a comedian on by the name of Paul Roseberry. And so he told us he was living out in, was it San Diego?
Yeah.
It was San Diego, yeah. And he told us he was like high on acid for like a month straight. And so,
by the way, my girlfriend's cracking up in the other room. She's dying in the. It's just killing me. She may have to come in and share some of her. Because I've known her for almost, Jesus Christ, 30 years. Oh, wow. And yeah, so she has stories going way back. She's got some stories about me that are just unique to her perspective. So, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupt you. Tell me about.
No, it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Tell me about another guest. Let's not focus on me. Let's focus on the other guest. That's what I want to do.
I know, but pretty much it was like he was on acid for a month straight, living in San Diego, and one day his girlfriend broke up with him, and so he decided to commemorate that.
Well, wait. So, what a surprise. He's on acid for a month, and his girlfriend decides to break up with him. That's a shock. All right, continue, please.
But to commemorate that, he decided to walk into a tattoo parlor because he had this crazy idea about getting a tattoo of like a heart with a scroll through it, but instead of a name, it says bitch.
Right.
And so we walked into a tattoo, and there's just this absolutely hulking, burly man, like full beard, covered in tattoos, like 300 pounds. And so he tells him about like the tattoo he wants, and he's just like, "Oh, okay, are you serious, or is this a joke?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm serious." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna let you think about that. And then if you still want to get it, call the shop and ask for me, because you're a crazy son of a bitch, and I'm going to be the one to do that tattoo." And so he's like, okay. And then on the way home, he just went into a random like Vietnamese or Korean tattoo shop, and with this guy with a lab coat on. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I want this tattoo." And he was like, "How much?" So it was $150 in the other place. And this the Korean or Vietnamese guy was like, "Oh yeah, $100." And so he's like, okay. He's like, okay, so when are we going to do that? And he's like, now.
We do now.
We do now, yeah. And then he threw him up on the table, and he got the tattoo, and he showed us the tattoo, and yeah, that's pretty much the whole story.
What a guy.
Story, man.
Yeah, that's the boy
Tattoo story.
Okay.
That's the bitch tattoo story.
But yeah. Back to you.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, how'd you get cast for Woods in the first place?
It's pretty well documented. Basically, I was invited to. I had done a film called September 12th, which required a certain level of stunt work, weapons work, and character. You know, it's a film. So the stunt guy who was doing that was hired by Activision, Treyarch, to test the new technology for this thing called performance capture. Because prior to Woods, they hadn't. Woods is all basically everything Woods does is it's like a movie. I mean, before it was they have a stunt actor do the motion capture, and they bring in a voice actor, and then they have like a facial capture guy who would basically mimic. So they had 3 pieces to one character, which does not allow for a lot of nuance. So Dave Anthony had wanted to try to tell a better story, and they decided to create or use the technology that Avatar was basically pioneering into performance capture. So basically, that is they put these dots on me, and those dots are seen as a mannequin of dots, and they paint over it, and that's basically what I do. So they were testing that technology. This guy brought me in for that. It was just just a shit show of an audition. They had no idea what they were doing, and I really didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do another student film. It seemed too much like unorganized. So they gave me the offer to do the role of Frank Barnes in what's called the testing level, and it wasn't the game; it was just the testing. And I was really not enthusiastic about it. I saw it was just they didn't have a script. They had no idea how to, there's nothing that looked like a legitimate job. So I was going to turn it down. Then the guy who was my manager at the time, Darwin, who will be on my show today, he's always on my show. We're talking about it because I had a couple of job offers at that time. I said, well, here's this one thing. It's a video game. I'm sure I want to be in a video game. I don't want to do, I'd have a lot of respect for it. And he goes, what is it? I go, it's called Duty Call of, he goes, Call of Duty? I go, yeah, that's it, Call of Duty. He goes, what are you, fucking retarded? Take the job. Biggest video game in the world. Yeah, and all right, I took it. And I did the testing. I got really tight with everybody at Treyarch, and then it got to the point where they kept bringing all these big names to play the role of Woods. And they kept like, well, yeah, but see how the guy in the test see how he's doing, and got the point, well, why don't we just hire the guy from the testing, because he pretty much is the character, and then we get him for like a fraction of what it costs to put a star on there. So I created because I was also lowest bidder. So that's why I got it, because I was lowest bidder. That's how I got it.
Down.
Yeah, that's it. Wow. Because like when you think back, Black Ops came out in, was it 2008 or 9?
Well, Black Ops 2010. I started working.
2010. Yeah.
I started working in 2009, but our release came in, I think, November of 2010.
Yeah, and I remember, like, now I would have been like just 8 when the first Black Ops game came out. Yeah, but
the 8 again, huh?
That would now, of course, Call of Duty being an 18s game, I obviously couldn't go and get it myself, but I was fortunate enough to have older brothers who could get the game. And just for that time, like the kind of things that were coming out, even like animated movies and stuff, like Black Ops was a completely different thing. It was like way
it was so unique,
realistic than anything I've seen, like. And like it was just phenomenal, because like all the games I was playing like Super Mario and stuff like that. It's not realistic whatsoever. And then just to have this game come along and like emulate real life, I was like, holy shit, like this is something different. And yeah, like I've been playing Call of Duty and obviously Black Ops ever since, and it's just.
Well, I think what makes the two things that stood out, and these are deliberate, and the guy who I blame for all this is a guy named Dave Anthony. He ran Treyarch. He's just a genius. One of my best friends now. We've been very close for 10 years. They did two things right. They hired really good writers, and then they stuck as close to historically events as they possibly could. Like everything that is in there is built off of some historical event, like the Bay of Pigs. So they really use a lot of history, historically accurate history and scenarios to create the narrative, and then they created this immersive storytelling with using actors, not just stuntmen, but people who could get in a room together and do a scene. I attribute a lot of the great stuff that happened in the moment because I had great acting, like Emerson Brooks, who's a great actor. He played Bowman, and then Andrew Hawks, who no one knows, but he's just a total utility guy. He played almost every character in the game, so for me to read against, but he gets very little credit for it. But he's an outstanding actor, and that the relationships that affect you during the game are there because the actors involved in the room, we're doing it. This is like watching a play. It's like watching a movie. We're actually in the room doing it together, as opposed to being in a sound booth doing your part, waiting for a line. A lot of times in a sound booth, you're just saying your lines, and then they kind of mix and match edited pieces. But when you're having a conversation, something else happens. Magic happens. And all the Russian scenes they had Russian actors and a couple of guys who were Spetsnaz, actual Russian commandos. So there's a reality level to the game that's what you're feeling. It gives you something different because there's an actual, there's a nuance there. There's an authenticity to what's happening in the situation. Plus the stress of having to get it in one take, because at that point the computers weren't able to, you couldn't splice in, so you had to get it in one take. Like the opening to the Cuba scene, that whole 4-minute scene we had to get correct for 4 minutes. You couldn't really cut into it, and we had this one quintessential perfect take. And when you get it, you know it. Like the girl moved to the right place at the right time. The timing is done, but that only happens when you have a group of really experienced, and we're all doing this for a while. So we understood how there's different protocols for each of the mediums. You're on stage, it's one thing. In film, there's requirements. In TV, there's requirements. While doing performance capture, video has requirements that you learn. Once you learn them, then it becomes a very easy thing to do. Not easy, but it becomes something that you're very comfortable doing.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, because now it's been recommended to me a few times, but like it always comes up on YouTube for me. It's the Russian roulette scene, but it's the performance capture side by side.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I watched that before the start.
It's actually incredible. Like,
if you go onto my YouTube channel, I have a whole playlist dedicated to behind the scenes. There's actually a video where we started shooting it from the minute I walk in to the studio. It shows just how I got to prepare, what they put on me, 2 hours of preparation, then what lunch looks like and what it takes. So basically, we show there's 7 or 8 scenes with split screen showing what the live action was, and then just all the behind the scenes of what it takes to actually make a game. We talked to the composers. So there's a lot of this stuff is on the channel over at the Call of Duty Black Ops videos by James C. Burns. So there's a whole channel committed to just those split screens. There's a lot of them there. It's awesome.
Yeah, they are very interesting videos, just to see how it can go from like the actors being in a room with in full with the dots and the suits and everything to an actual fully fledged scene that's
What's fun too is on many of them you see when I do them, I'll show you where the differences are. Like, oh, this is what we shot, but here's what you got, and the same thing. And a lot of times we have I'll show you what the script was and what we really did because things change in the moment. A lot of those great one-liners that Wood spits out just happen. There's batshit. Where are my smokes? That was totally a result of being in the moment. So all those things, it's fun to see that. See live, it is just really, it's playing. Man, I'm playing Army for a living. Can you believe that? I play Army for a living. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I actually noticed that a trend with any movie you've done since Black Ops, you've been a soldier, or well, most of them really.
Yeah, well, man, if it's it's called typecasting, and God bless it, because it's kept me employed for many years. So I appreciate that. Anything that keeps you employed is a good thing.
You ever been in the Army?
No, I have not. I did not serve.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
And how different was it between the first Black Ops game and the second Black Ops game? Because obviously in the first Black Ops, it's all about that kind of era, and then Black Ops 2, it's kind of bringing it into a bit further into the future, and instead of playing the veteran during the war, you're playing post-war. Yeah. So how different was that?
Well, remember, for me, Black Ops 1, 2, and 4 are the same game. We started talking about Black Ops 2, literally 2 weeks after Black Ops 1 came out. Dave Anthony took me to lunch and said, you're going to win this award for this VGA thing. You're going to win that, so we're probably going to bring it back. Just want to let you know. And then, geez, right after, it was early the next year, we started talking about how to, what we're going to do with Woods. And then halfway through that, we just started. He brought me in to write Woods' dialogue, because it got to the point where I was so adamant about how things would sound. And there's a thing I say, and I love the writers. There's some great writers over there. But a lot of guys, as an athlete, as a fighter, you can tell when someone's never been in a fight before. Like, if you ever not been beaten up in a fight, you don't understand certain things. If you haven't been knocked down and kind of like had to crawl back from a hole, you're not gonna know certain things. So when I read certain this person's never been in a fight. They don't know what that mentality really is, what the survival instinct. If your life's never been close to being ended by somebody else, there's certain things you're not going to know because you've never done it before. And you read it. So when I started reading some of the dialogue, we can make this a little stronger. I get what they want here. Let me beef it up here. Here's what Woods would do. Here's the thing Woods can do here. Oh, he's in a wheelchair. It's going to be weaponized. If Woods is in a wheelchair, he's going to have a machine gun in the armrest. He's going to be weaponized in one way or another. He's already figured out how to make a weapon out of it. That's the mentality you got to think about. How does he do that? And how does he, and there's a certain level of contempt he has for, I learned this from working with Navy SEALs on Transformers. I got the opportunity to spend 2 weeks with these guys. And the level of contempt they had for me was unbelievable, and that is because in their mind, like I'm just I'm a useless actor, and compared to them, I am. These guys are, but after a certain amount, having been a hockey coach and knowing how to talk to people in the situations like this, I say, well, okay, if I'm holding my weapon wrong, teach me how to do it right. And once they started teaching me and training me, then I became. Like now I am their project. They own. They said they have not responsible, but I feel like, okay, they're teaching me. So now it's important to them that I know, because when you're a coach and a teacher, you really take on the responsibility of that person's behavior and are they good at it? Because I'm connected to this now, so my success becomes important to them, I should say. So after the first couple of days with these guys, their contempt was comical. Like literally, I would sit down because we're in a scene together, right? I'd sit down at the table, they get and leave. They just want nothing to do with me. Like because they were just out of rotation. And these guys don't waste time. They sit there, like they won't sit and just have a cigarette. They'll do knife drills, or they'll work out, or they'll study. They never waste a minute of time, which I found, which has really helped me a lot. To build an acting career. But after a couple of days of that, when we started, they taught me weapons handling and all this. I said, well, how would we clear Air Force One? I said, well, here's how you do it. I said, well, let's do it. Let's figure it out. And by that time, 2 weeks in, I learned so much from these guys. They're constantly, the level of pressure they put on themselves is it's commendable. I don't know if that answered any question at all. I think it went off on a diatribe there. I'm not sure if we answered questions at all.
No, you've definitely answered the questions. Perfect. Now there's one scene I want to talk about, and I was wondering if I could get your opinion on. What do you think of the secret ending in Black Ops 2, where Woods gets up out of his wheelchair and then performs with Avenged Sevenfold?
That's not really a secret ending. That's a massive Easter egg. That is just tribute. That was something that, in all honesty, with Dave Anthony and with Kamar especially, when we get done working, we don't want to go home. We don't want it to end. I mean, even like with Black Ops 4, Dave and I would sit there in a session, and the worst part of the session was when it was finished. Like, we gotta go home. We're done. And I think it was just one more way to get us all, me and Kamar, together, to do this, and just it's one more way to get us together and have more fun doing it. That's maybe that's just my jaded opinion on it, but and bringing Avenged Sevenfold was great marketing because they were hot at the time and they're huge Call of Duty fans, so a lot of it just fell together real easily. So it was not so much. It was so much. Hey, what else can we do? We have some time. The game is going to be great. The expectations were super high. They knew what they had. We knew we had a really strong and great. Kamar was incredible. Rich McDonald playing Dave. We had a great cast. Tony Todd. We had so many stellar performances. We knew what we had, so I'm pretty sure they decided let's do something else. How can we top this? Well, let's bring out Ben Simmons. Let's have Woods play drum. It was great.
Of course. And did you perform? And did you were you in performance capture for playing the drums, or?
Oh God, no. They had an extra drummer in there. I'm a guitar player by trade, but that's not. No. God no.
Yeah, I was wondering because it was very weird, like looking back there and just seeing this character who's been in a wheelchair the entire game, and like he's this war hero, and then suddenly he's playing drums for like a metal band.
There's a split screen on that, and you'll see if you watch the split screen. I kind of point out again that was an improv scene. That was something that happened with just an impulse. And when I got up, no one expected the wheelchair to go flying. So I stood up. I pushed that back. What? Oh, that shit. Well, what happened in the shoot, the wheelchair just zoomed back and took out a camera and took out the camera guy.
Oh, God.
The ball going through pins, knocking shit down. These are crashing all around us. And that's why we're all cracking up because, boom, that's why I look back. Oh, that shit? Nah, I'm just fucking lazy. That was strictly improvised. That was just, all right, hey, listen, I've done it before, I'll do it again. It was just it was fun. I just pushed the chair just rolled back and boom, things are crashing and banging and people are laughing. Hold on, stay in the scene,
Yeah. What was your favorite scene that you filmed for any of the 3 games, like Black Ops 1, 2, or 4?
I think, it really depends on the day, but I think the scene with Savannah where she introduces me, I think that just encapsulates the entire character. My name is Woods. If you don't know that, tough shit. You will. It kind of encapsulated his whole existence in those 1 or 2 in that minute. That was the manifestation of Woods in totality. He's a teacher, he's a friend, he's a tough guy. He's a little funny, he's a little dark. I think that speech covered a lot of ground. So that probably is. If you have to pick one, I'll pick that. Well, come on, man. There's so many great cutscenes. There's so many that never made the game. There's a bunch that never made the game, either game. So.
Any favorite lines you said?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Do you have any favorite lines that you said?
Yeah, there's, it depends on the day. It depends on my mood. Some of them are just, there's the classic iconic lines. But for the most part, it depends on my mood. It depends on who I'm talking to. Like if I do a Comic-Con or I do an event, I'll be talking to people and they say, "Oh, hey, say," and I'll bark something out depending, or I'll change it. Not really. If you have one, let me know. But to me, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 4, it's one long game. It never stopped for me. Like. When we transitioned from Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2, that was like that job never stopped. That just kept going on and on and on. Because you don't work every day. Like you shoot a few days in 1 month and you have 3 weeks off, and then you shoot 5 days and then you have a week off. So it's not like you're going there every single. So to have large gaps in the work schedule is not unusual. I shot, the last day was June 12th on Black Ops 2. Then I flew out to Utah, made a movie, came back, and I finished up in September. So there it wasn't unusual to be down for 3 months. It was just normal for us. And Black Ops 4, Black Ops 3, we don't talk, it's like Voldemort. We don't speak of it. It's not a game to speak of. But Black Ops 4 came around, and Dave and I, Dave Anthony, who's the director and basically chief cook and bottle washer, we're in constant contact, and we had starting in December we had conversations about possibilities, and then come February we had the talk. I'm bringing you back. Here's what I need you to do. So that was it. So I kept my mouth shut for a couple of months, and then we just things started happening.
I definitely think even though you play as Alex Mason in the first Black Ops, you are definitely the main character and the person we see the most for that. Definitely for that Black Ops, I think. And it's very central around you, and you're usually like, I think you definitely are, maybe even the main character. Would you?
Well, I think this, I was very specific with ideas about Woods. Again, I'm a former professional hockey coach. I did that for a living. I've worked with youth at risk. I worked in New York City with a lot of kids. Some of my guys got shot. I've been around a lot of different kind of kids. And one of the things as a coach, I always try to avoid or try to implement was avoid shaming people, shame-based, because we have that. You coaches, don't suck so much next time. There's very little information coming to you with most coaches. They're just they want it, but they can't express how to do it. So I built into the character this modality of coaching where you'll never hear Woods insult you. Like if I say, move your ass, you can do that. It's about, hey, you can do it. Go through your discomfort, move forward. Man up, do it. It's not about diminishing you. It's about putting wind in your sail in any different way. And that's consistent throughout the entire, the series with franchise. And I think what people pick up on without knowing it, he's on your side. Like he's this guy who not only does he have your back, but you have the sense that he has the ability to do something. A lot of people have your back, but very few people have the ability to do something about it when you need help. That's a big difference. You have a lot of friends, but do they have the ability to help you in a pinch? And that's what I try to build into this guy. He has the wherewithal, he has the skill, he has the ability, the intelligence. So when he says "I got your back," it means it's not empty. It's not an empty promise. And we built that in through the whole game of this. That's why I think there's so much gravity around him. He really is. He's your friend. Like he's there for you. And that's pretty much the whole, the whole idea behind Woods. He's your best friend. He's got your back.
Yeah, 100%. And you can see that
very
through
true.
games, where he takes bullets for you, he takes explosions for you, sacrifices himself in the first one instead of letting it
shot in.
He
literally he gets paralyzed because I know there's two paths that you can do where you can either shoot Mason in the head, and both ways still get shot in both knees, and it's like that. I remember playing that when I first got the game, and it was just
it's heartbroken.
Yeah,
it's like it's brutal, right?
Yeah, like you wouldn't think, like, people. I feel like people look at games as kind of this form of media where it's like, oh yeah, shoot, stab, okay, that's cool. But like, I feel like the Black Ops games, they were very story driven, as well as just running along and shooting.
Yeah, like don't get it wrong, like it was a lot of shooting, but there was a lot of story to it.
Yeah.
Well, I did a lot of Comic-Cons for a few years, and I remember the conversations I had with parents a lot, and some were really extraordinary. And I would say, look, this is not just let's go shoot some shit. You are given a task. Here I think fulfill this task. It has developed a lot of character in people because you're asked to do things. Now, granted, it's within the context of playing a video game. Let's not exaggerate its value, but there's a certain level when you are asked to perform a certain set of tasks and do them a certain way, it creates the ability to follow through. If you want something, you've got to earn these points. And whenever you are given a challenge and you earn points and then you earn success, it builds your character in my mind. So with the game, you are confronted with obstacles. In personal relationships, you're meeting people you care about and people you hate. You're dealing with life accelerated. And then we get to Black Ops 2 and you're given actual choices on what to do. Like, do you kill Menendez or do you let him live? Do you submit to your anger, or do you try and you get different results for that? And I think that's an effective. That gives you a real sense of heightened life without the consequences of actually having to go through that. So it gives you a chance to see something and do something and test yourself without having to actually, draw blood or be in danger.
Mm.
Well, I'm just gonna say to all those people who kept Menendez alive, fuck you. I know, I'm joking.
Yeah, but the point is, if you succumb to that, then you lose that great ending, right? That where you find Dave gets to see his dad. What a great ending, right? But so if you succumb to it, that shit happens, which I love about Black Ops 2. They really take a moral, a stand on certain kind of behaviors.
Yeah,
of course. Kind of makes you rethink.
We're getting really freaking deep here. This is a very deep conversation.
Oh, we know our stuff. We love our COD on this channel.
There's one thing that's known on this channel. What was I going to say? Crap.
I thought we were going to talk about the Troubles or something like that.
Do you have you played Black Ops 4? Most recent Black Ops?
I've played it in the when I was at Treyarch. I got onto the good equipment. I have no skill whatsoever with the controller, none. I just can't figure out. Okay, red button, green button, blue. It's too much for me. I haven't had enough time to get comfortable. My manual dexterity is limited on a controller, and I've tried a PC. I'm just not. I can't do what I want to do. Like, come on, and then I'm like squeezing. I break controllers all the time. They snap. Steering it, like, come on, go, and it breaks. And I can't. I don't have the time to spend. I mean, it takes hours and hours to get good at it, and I don't have the time, so I avoid it.
Of course.
I'm terrible. I mean, if you see some of my gameplay videos on the channel, I mean, they're funny as hell, but I'm terrible. I mean, I can't hit shit.
That makes it even better.
Well, but remember, I'm Woods. Woods can't be bad at this, right? I can't go online and get my ass kicked by a newbie. I just can't, and then destroy my entire, the entire mystery of Woods. Like, he sucks. No. I can say, maybe I'm kidding.
Yeah, but if someone if you get wrecked by someone, you could just leave them a message as Woods and be like, "Yeah, you tell anyone about this, and I'm coming for you."
Yeah, well, I'd rather say I'm playing my guitar. I'll be honest with you.
Oh yeah,
more fun.
Oh yeah, what I was gonna ask was, have you been let in on anything about the next Treyarch game or upcoming Black Ops titles?
Well, here's the thing. If you've been following anything, I don't talk about that. Even if I did, I wouldn't talk about it. But quite honestly, as far I made this is what I did my very first live stream about. I said I know three things about next Black Ops Incantation. Number one, I have not recorded any content for it. I'm not under contract to record content, and I do not even know what the name of the game is. Now, I do have some other insights that I can't share because they would violate.
Of course, yeah.
And would violate some friendships. There are people who I've known for 10 years who would be affected by what I say and what they are currently doing. So, out of respect to friendships, I just keep my mouth shut about a lot of things. So I know a few things, but nothing that. Number one, nothing that in stone, because I don't think anybody knows what's happening with the game. If you hear anything, people start throwing rumors around, then it doesn't matter, because the only people that matter is Treyarch, and even if they're not putting out a word now, then that tells me that there's a lot going on behind the scenes that nobody knows right now. So and of course with the COVID and with all these other things happening. They are constantly refining. I remember when we were doing Black Ops 2, when I had one of my fans call me, reach out to me from the Middle East and say, "Look, there's a problem in this game here because you have a religious symbol in a bathroom over a toilet." that's a massive insult to Islam. I said,
Oh
oh,
God.
yeah, and that's a big deal because
Yeah.
so I got in touch with them and said, look, guys, here's what and they immediately changed it. Immediately. So that they're very responsive to that.
Yeah.
And they're very sensitive to current events. They're very sensitive to.
I think we lost him.
Yeah. It froze. It froze before as well. So he should be back.
So yeah.
Must say that's very honourable of him.
No, yeah, that's fair. And well, look, if you've gotten this far, you should like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to his channel, especially. We'll link it below.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hopefully we'll get him back. I don't know.
I think we will. I mean, it's happened twice before, so
Yeah.
maybe it's just longer every time.
Does he know what's happening?
Oh, I could hear him there for a second, I think. Or maybe I couldn't.
Right, while we're waiting for him to respond, what do you guys think Black Ops is, or well, the next Treyarch title, if it's not Black Ops even?
Oh, I have
It
no
has
idea.
to be Black Ops.
I think it will be a Black Ops though.
Nope.
Unless
What he's gonna probably join back now.
Yeah.
yeah.
It shouldn't affect the recording anyway. So
No, it won't.
No.
right, grand job.
But yeah, well, he's such a cool guy.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, man, it's so weird just talking to someone that like had this huge part of my childhood. Like, 'cause I played the fucking shit out of Black Ops 2. Like, I've heard his voice like so many times over so many hours, and wow. Right,
Hopefully we can
What a guy.
join back. And if he doesn't share, like
How long are we in?
about 40 minutes. Oh, he's unavailable.
Oh, that's a shame.
Okay.
Right, we'll continue to record anyway. So we'll just we'll keep talking COD until we can figure
Yeah.
out whether
God.
it's come back or not.
What's your guys' favorite card, or what was your first card?
Go first, Dara. Go on.
Now, in terms, alright, yeah, man, mine's gonna be like super detailed, so I apologize in advance. Right, we talk in terms of first COD game played, or like
Yeah, first you ever played.
the entire thing.
Don't overcomplicate what I say.
Because I've done this so many
I literally
times.
asked, what was your first
no.
card and what's your favorite?
Nah, see, my first COD in terms of playing it, I played Zombies on Black Ops 1.
And
Kino
that's the end
Toten.
of that question.
Okay,
Now, what's
Black
your
Ops
favorite?
No,
one?
listen. No,
Oh.
Kino der Toten was my first
that's
thing
the
that I
first
ever
one you
played, and that's been emotionally ingrained in my mind.
Well
Let's
done.
go find the guy who asked.
And but no, Black Ops. Well, the first game I properly played full through was Modern Warfare 3, but Black Ops 2 is my favorite. So yeah.
What about you, Jared?
There
What
you
would
go.
you say?
First one I played was Call of Duty 3 on the Wii.
Jesus,
I know.
that's
I remember-
miles back.
Yeah.
I remember getting Black Ops. Do you remember this, Dara? When I used to play Black Ops 3 on the Xbox 360, and I bought a pack deal. It was Black Ops 1, and you got the multiplayer for Black Ops 3. But I thought
Yeah.
the whole first game was Black Ops 3. So called Dara, like, oh, I got Black Ops 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Thomas is
fuck you.
like Thomas was like so fucked because he got Black Ops 3 on the 360, which it's not meant to be played on because it was a next gen game. And so at this point, I had the PlayStation, and I was like, Thomas, honestly, just get a PS4. And I swear to God, like 7 months later, he had a PS4, and I was like, well done, dumbass.
That's such an awkward gap, like, between people getting consoles. Like, you have... Like, I had the Xbox 360, and I waited over a year. Basically, by the time they were getting ready to announce the Series X, I got the Xbox One.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
it took... Yeah, like, no, they're so
It
expensive
is
when they
fair
come out.
annoying when they do that, though.
I've
Yeah.
had my PlayStation.
But I understand that they do it a few years later. I'm one of those. I'm in the minority of people who went from PS2 to Xbox 360 back to PlayStation 4. But we also had like it was a case of my brothers owned a PS2, right? And so we got a PS3. That was fine. I barely ever played it because brothers are dickheads and stuff like that. But at some point, my oldest brother got me an Xbox 360, and I got what was it, Red Dead, and Modern Warfare 3, and then PlayStation 4 came out. My brother got that, and then I got my own PlayStation 4 then as well, and I plan to move on to PS5.
I'm looking forward to the PS5, man. The graphics look really, really good in it.
Oh my god, Unreal Engine 5 looks phenomenal. What do you think about, Jared?
What am I thinking about right now?
You're a PC man. We know that now.
Well, right now I'm thinking about your old lady, but no, yeah, I'm a PC man at the moment, and I'm going to remain that way.
Are you
I
sure?
feel like
I've seen a lot of memes about how it's like, oh yeah, when a PC player's PC, like $3,000 PC, finally outmatches a $400 console, and it's like victory.
Well, you got to remember, my PC only cost me $350. I can outdo. It can outdo the consoles at the moment.
Can it run Modern Warfare at 60?
Of course.
Have you tried it?
No.
Exactly. Shut your fucking mouth. It could probably 300. What's in it exactly?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
All right. Well, fair enough.
I got a second hand.
350.
I know it's brilliant, but I'll tell you, I do know I need to upgrade it if I want to play Cyberpunk when it comes out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I'll have to upgrade it for that. But no, I can run No Man's Sky. I can run
just thinking off of
stuff pretty handy.
parts alone right now. $350 isn't going to get you much in the way of playability for like AAA titles like COD or.
Oh, the best thing to do if you're getting a PC is just find an absolutely trash PC.
Yeah,
absolutely trash.
Sleeper
They
PC,
start
bro.
going around seeing people like selling their old PCs. You're probably gonna obviously know what's in them. Probably gonna find something good that you can use, and then obviously after that you get a few important parts and you're set.
Yeah, but man, just think like a graphics card right now. A good graphics card that'll get you able to play fucking Modern Warfare and shit like that. It's like 500 quid on its own. Second hand, maybe 450.
So, just texted James there and thinks that he's trying to connect now, but he thinks it could be rioters with the internet.
Jesus.
Oh.
So,
how about that?
Shall we see? You know, if he
we'll continue to rant on and wait for Sergent Woods to return.
Of course, and if not, sure, we'll have him on for a part 2.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But
we'll do what we did with episode 19. We could just upload this bit and then upload the next bit after.
Yeah, exactly.
Same day kind of job. Handy stuff.
Same.
Yeah. No. My favorite COD. I'll be honest. I was one of those guys. I'm not anymore. I've changed. I'm a better man.
Wait! I know exactly what you're about to say. I know
because
exactly
it's the only COD I had for a long time. Ghost was my favorite for a long time. I defended it tooth and nail. I defended it tooth and nail. Now, I'll fight any man this side the Mississippi. And the side of the Mississippi we're on is huge. I'll tell you that much. But I'll fight any man this side the Mississippi. And he says it was a bad game. It was a good game.
Listen,
people expect so much.
Ghost campaign was pretty good. Ghost campaign was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, right? It was good. It was in the mid-range. Okay.
But because
it
was aliens instead of zombies, people were like, poo poo.
Listen, right? Campaign was mid-ranged. I fucking hated Extinction. I just did. It's like Zombies is all about playability. You go back, you can play it for fucking hours, man. Extinction, I play like 3 matches and I get fucking like just so pissed off or bored.
Which one was Extinction?
And then the multiplayer, I
aliens.
think the multiplayer just became a meme because
it was
dogs.
Good. To start.
No, it became a meme because A, dogs, B, you could be a fucking predator, like literal, like from the movie Predator, and there was a Snoop Dogg voice pack for
Does
the
that
announcer.
not all sound awesome to you?
That sounds pretty fucking awesome, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
for people like dogs,
Like,
they
people like
suck,
to complain a
right?
lot about certain games.
Dogs
And,
and like
I think with that game, people asked for too much.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good COD. It wasn't the best. Obviously, the best is going to be Black Ops 1. I'll fight any man beside the
would
Mississippi
100%
about
agree
that.
with you. I agree with
But
you. on that.
I'm sorry, Black Ops 2 is my favorite, but it's only because I fucking played that shit for eons, man.
No, man, Kino
you know what was great about that game? You could
What?
pick your loadout for the campaign.
Yeah.
You do that in Black Ops 3, man,
Playing-
but nobody wants to talk about that one.
Shut up.
Yeah, because that one was.
I know. Multiplayer Black Ops 3, I honestly thought was alright.
Same with Zombies,
Campaign,
when it came out with...
All over the place. Zombies, good.
Yeah.
I feel like Black Ops 1, I think the campaign was the best, right? Black Ops 2, I feel like campaign and multiplayer were very good. And then Zombies was good as well. Like, not amazing, but good.
Yeah.
But I think the multiplayer kind of shined in that one. And then Zombies in Black Ops 3 was the best as well. Even though I grew up with Kino on Black Ops 1. However, they did introduce Kino in Black Ops 3, which was fucking spectacular.
I think that's what made the Zombies good, is when they,
Oh, man,
released.
Zombies Chronicles. I remember when they announced it, and I shit my pants. Like, because I was like, no, I didn't physically shit my pants.
Alright.
But anyway, no, I just remember, like, they were like, oh yeah, we're having remastered maps, and I was like, Kino. And then the fucking announcement trailer came out, and it was Kino, and I was like, oh! It was the first time I spent money on a DLC, and I do not regret it one bit.
Simp.
I actually don't regret it. It was 30 quid when it came out, I think, and you get like 8 maps.
Bruh.
Which is, it's the same, man. That's the same as half a season pass, and you got extras. You got like
Who
calling
pays
cards.
for this stuff, man? The game's
Parents.
going to be gone in a year. Like,
Doesn't
Parents,
man,
parents
it's
pay for
Kino.
that shit.
like, are you
Man,
still
I
playing
actually paid
Warzone?
for it, bitch. No, because it's gotten it's not even that I've outlived it or it's outlived its or outstayed its welcome. It's that the fucking updates got way too big, and I was just like, fuck that, I need space. So I deleted it because it got up to like fucking almost 200 gigabytes.
This is why a lot of people are in favor of stuff like 5G.
Why?
It just makes the internet speed everywhere so much faster.
Yeah.
Like,
but
the
it's
idea
not
that you
even
could
internet
download that
speed.
in an hour instead of 11.
Yeah,
It's
I
so-
know.
it's so
not
amazing.
even downloading it. It's just that, you download a big update. An update could be like 30 gigs. You're like, okay, cool. Month later, 80 gig update, and you're like, all right, I'm running out of space, so I'll have to delete some games. And then there's games that you just don't want to delete. So you're going to have to start buying fucking external hard drives and shit like that.
Well, you don't have to, but I go your
Yeah, but it would be more efficient to buy that than, fucking delete all your games that you're going to have to reinstall. That took, hours or days to fucking download.
Right, his
Yeah.
internet is down.
Oh.
Well, then how do you text you? I don't know.
That's a shame.
What do I say? I say, will we reschedule or?
I mean, ask
I mean,
him.
we kind of. Yeah, we kind of got like a 40-minute
We could
podcast,
keep
right?
this episode for another day, and then as soon as we reschedule with them, we can upload both of them on the same day.
So are
just
you
a day
implying
that
we
we have-
shouldn't upload today? You monster.
What are you saying, Dara?
What? Do you want to upload one part today and then another part another day? Like,
What are you, crazy?
You fucking mad, man? No, all right. I think we kind of got like a whole 40-minute podcast with him, man. Or will we say we'll reschedule?
Well, ask him about rescheduling, but it was a good
Damn.
episode.
it
Obviously
was a
left
good
incomplete.
episode. Yeah. That kind of sucks. But yeah, like I don't know if you just wanna fucking upload it today.
We're really breaking a fourth wall right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, back to work. No, I don't know.
Viewer, yeah, I'm very sorry. Or viewers.
Hey, viewer, I really like the t-shirt you're
17.
wearing today. It actually really suits you. It matches your eyes.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me, and I was like, what?
And those new shoes. Oh my goodness.
That's actually so weird because I got a pair of new shoes the other day. What the fuck?
You're welcome.
Thanks. They're Nike. You know me, the complete opposite of going out and buying nice brands. Go all in on the band t-shirts.
Nice.
Well, thank you for listening.
Hopefully, I'm not sure whether this is going to be a full episode or whether we might have a part 2 coming.
We got
but,
no idea what's happening.
Yeah,
So
exactly. But if you want
we'll
a
let
part
you know.
2 with
If there ever
Mr.
is a part 2,
James C.
you know.
Burns, leave a like. Because we certainly want more of Sergeant Frank Woods and his stories, you know. That fucking that story at the start about his grandma.
Funny
Incredible.
shit, everyone.
What a legend. Anyway, I don't know what's going to happen with this episode, but I'm just going to say it. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your grandma about the podcast, and take her handy
And,
on this.
kill some zombies, bro.
Yeah,
Oh.
let us know your favorite COD.
Yeah.
Not-
For Activision and Treyarch, and his one was like, "Man, remember what we talked about? Don't say anything." I remember, sir. Yes, sir. Because I don't want you shutting down my internet, presence. So, which they would do in a heartbeat. So,
Awesome.
Of course, yeah. Right. Yeah, we're back. Some technical difficulties there, but we're all good now. So,
Yeah.
anyways, continuing on. So the last question we asked was, of course, about the next game, and obviously, Mr. Burns here cannot talk about it.
Before we start, are you watering plants?
who me?
Yeah.
Oh no,
I
what
do
I'm doing?
barbecue.
I'm cooking on a grill.
Yeah.
See that? Can you guys see it? I'm cooking on a
Uh,
grill.
A
That looked pretty
multitasker.
good, man.
I'm making lunch.
Oh, that
Come on
looks
over.
incredible.
Come on over.
Oh,
Wish we could, man.
definitely.
I got a fresh bottle of Chianti ready.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am living large during the apocalypse. Trust me. I am so digging the apocalypse. You have no idea.
Yeah. What? I was going to ask a question before we got cut off. Now I just
Yeah, we did get cut off, and sure luck, we survived.
I'm trying to remember what I was going to ask. Oh yeah. With the whole there was a cycle before with how the Call of Duty games were released, where it would be Treyarch and then Infinity Ward and then Sledgehammer, or I think it was Sledgehammer then
Yep.
Infinity Ward.
Mhm.
But just recently it's been cut off. I can't remember what companies actually. I think Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer have merged, so now it's a 2-year cycle, and that was only announced I think last year. And so usually like these companies will have 3 games or 3 years to make a COD, and then it's grand. But obviously Treyarch was cut short, so it's completely understandable that they have a lot of work on their hands. Like,
you have to look at it in the context of the evolution of technology and the evolution of the gaming world. I mean, for 10 years, the model was the same. You have a campaign, you have the multiplayer, and that was a standard for 10 years. Up comes PUBG, up comes Fortnite, and it changes the whole dynamic. Now everybody wants, and your generation, like this new generation, I think you're called Zoomers, right? Yeah, that's what you call. I think it's like what Napster did to music. PUBG and Fortnite is doing to the video game world. Like no one wants to pay for a game anymore. It's like you get it for free, or you want to have so they have to make the platform free. Then they're going to make money off of the monetization, microtransactions. That's the new model that's out there, and it's effective. It's working because really, it's about having traffic on it. So before it's like selling records. They used to sell what? 20, 30 million DVDs, CDs, right? That's how they kept track of their income. But now they need to compete with mobile and online, and almost nobody's playing this on their computers anymore. Everybody's playing on their phones, on iPads. So the bulk of it, so the generational change is that they have to grow into this new market, and they also got to grow into the Asian market because there's how many billions of people are there. So there's a lot going on that is going to dictate how a game is made, and so developing a game and the whole business around it is probably one of the driving factors for its delay. Not knowing, what's the deal in China? What is going to be the protection of IP? A lot of it has to do with, are they going to steal the game? If they steal the game, how do they protect themselves? There's all these elements that, again, as a company that has stockholders, they really have to pay attention to. Because I've seen stockholder meetings, people get crazy. They want to know why this and why that. So they have a lot of concerns, not just the playability or the player experience, but they got to also, hey, we owe people money. So that's kind of what's happening as well, I think, is that you have all this technology change over. People are, the gaming world is changing at a lightning pace. And when AI gets involved, and you can start personalizing, with deep faces.
Yeah.
Oh, deep fake, yeah.
So basically with that, it's like when that gets involved, maybe people want to program their own avatars. Maybe at some point you're not going to want to have a guy. You're going to want to see yourself in that guy's place. And that, I'm sure that technology already exists, and they're probably thinking, maybe we should wait. Maybe that's, there's so many things we just don't know what's happening over there. But if you look at the growth of technology and the innovation in technology that's happening as we speak, then it's going to be, oh shit, there could be any number of things going on right now.
Of course, yeah.
See, huh? I'm not just another pretty face.
I know, but yeah, I feel like over there at Treyarch they must be under a lot of stress, because being told that, they have, of course, at the end of as soon as they put out the game, they'll be updating that game and all, but obviously they're going to be thinking, all right, we have 3 years to make this huge, make a game that's going to top this one. So
yeah, how much bigger can it get?
Exactly. And then being told a year later that, oh yeah, you actually only have 1 more year to finish this now instead of 2. So
so I think that's kind of what happened with Black Ops. With Black Ops 4, I think they just ran out of room. What? Okay, what can we do? Well, just put something out that meets a lot of requirements and see what happens. Anyway, that's.
Yeah. No, Black Ops 4 was still a good game, though.
Yeah.
No, I remember getting it, and even though there was no story to it, it was still a good game. It was kind of like an arcade mode of all the Black Ops games so far.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that there was we tried to. I wrote a lot of stuff on that. I wrote some of the audio scenes. I wrote the introduction scene. I wrote all the specialist training. So I wrote that, and I remember talking at length about how do we tie all this together, and it really does a good job of tying together the whole universe, but there's a few holes and gaps that, again, I'm reticent to speak on it in detail because I don't know what there was going to be. I don't know if any of these gaps and holes in the story are going to be used as potential storylines for an upcoming game. So I really don't want to cause them any problems. Or it's oh, Burns just got on this Irish Lads podcast. Because that happens to me all the time, that people just take stuff, what I said, out of context, and they get a call in the middle of the night from, the head of Activision. Hey man, what are you doing? I go, so I got to be careful not to blow anything up without knowing I'm doing it. I have no idea what they're doing next, but I could, inadvertently say something that's spot on. The next thing you know, I'm a leaker, and then then I got a lawyer calling. Then I got a lawyer calling me at 9:00 at night. Like, oh shit. So again, and I only speak from what I know, and that's exactly what has happened in the past. So
that's fair.
Yeah, we were just after we had our technical difficulties there. I mean, the boys were talking about our first COD games and our favorites and all. And both the boys, I think. Oh, you said Black Ops 1, right? I think.
Oh, yeah, Black Ops 1 was the best one, and I'll fight any lad this side of the Mississippi who says otherwise.
That's a big shot of land there beside the Mississippi.
It's mostly sea for me. Don't worry.
But you're almost exactly halfway around the world, so it could be either side of the Mississippi for you. So that's like
Antarctica. We'll fight any penguin, man. I tell you.
I don't think there's any penguins talking shit about Call of Duty. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
You never know. But no,
Exactly.
honestly, best one. And that's a fact.
I think there's a lot of nostalgia around Black Ops 1. I think it was groundbreaking. I think it introduced a whole generation of people to a new type of gaming experience. So for me, it changed my life. So I have a deep attachment to Black Ops 1. The soundtrack is just, the Stones. The whole thing for me was just such a transitional thing for me as a career. So I have a lot of nostalgia around it. I really, oh wow, it was, and it actually reintroduced me to my current girlfriend. Actually, that's a story for another day. But that's the biggest reward. I got to meet up with the love of my life again, right, sweetie? She's passed out. She's passed out. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a shit. The women in my life. My mother, she passed away. God bless her soul. My mother called, I have a cousin who's a big fan, and she's trying to explain to him. I'm in California, she's in Massachusetts, and she's trying to explain to my cousin what I did. And she called me on the phone. Hey, Jim, you know that pinball game you play? I go, what? The pinball game, the pinball thing you do, the pinball. I go, pinball? What do you? Yeah, the pinball game you play. What is that game you play? The pinball. I go, Mom, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The pinball game. You just did it. Like that. I go, wait a minute, the video game? Yeah, the pinball game. Mom, it's not pinball. She still had no idea what I did for a living, none whatsoever. She had, oh my gosh, she was unbelievable. She said, yeah, that pinball game you play. The pinball game that I play. All right, Mom. 100%. 100%. Because her mom was Granny Burkowski, so do the math, right?
Exactly. I was about to say they sound very alike.
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible, yeah. Anyway, you're very good at with the voices. It's
I am very good, yes. Oh, very good. Yeah, no. I come from a long line of insanity. My father.
God, that's so quotable.
My father was institutionalized, so I'm not making that up. My father was both in jail and in a mental hospital, so I come by it honestly, man. At least I'm making a living from it.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't even know how to respond. That's wow.
That's a little too real for you, isn't it? A little too goddamn real for you. That's what I do here. For God's sakes, get back on the boat.
What?
I'm trying to figure out what accent that was.
I know, man. It's fun to do. I don't know whose it is, but it's really fun.
How's your Irish accent?
That was my Irish accent.
Oh God!
But there's so many Irish accents, man. You have like 9 of them over there. It's like English accents. There's like you're so many. Like there's a Boston. I'm from Western Mass. I'm from Boston. So my father's from Southie. So it talks like this. Southie. There's no fucking T's at all in Southie. It's a T is an F. It's like Southie. Going to fucking Remley's, that's how it is. Very nasally, fucking very, very. And every word's fuck this, fuck that. My grandmother. Fucking Jimmy, give me a fucking cigarette, will you? Okay. Hey, happy fucking birthday, kid. It's like, thanks, Graham. Thank you, Graham.
That's one way to show love.
Oh yeah. Come here, you son of a bitch. Give me a kiss, for Christ's sakes.
I love the Boston accent. I was commended by another guest on doing a Bill Burr impression.
Oh, Bill. Oh, fucking Bill Burr. Yeah. Billy Best, he's more north. He's more North Shore. He's up there. He's higher up. So his whole thing is different. His whole demeanor is different. And he's not from the he's not from the streets. He's sort of a suburban kind of guy. So it's not as hard edges. You know, and he actually may say an F now and then. But no one ever pronounced the fucking word ah. Ah doesn't exist. It's ah, you know. Not R, it's ah. You know. Harvard, cars and fucking bars and shit.
It's very like Australian, because they don't really pronounce their R's either.
True.
And
very true.
Even when they pronounce their O's, they have like a kind of an R at the end, but they kind of cut it off. So it'll be
Polar. My cousin name was Paula. My father, hey, Polar. He was like, who? Polar. You know, your cousin Polar. Right. Paula.
Well, I was always talking about how we should have had an impressionist on this show, and here we have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of impression are you making? Well, you know. All right, boys. So do me a favor. Send me a link to this stuff. I'll promote your show on the. I'm doing a live stream today at 3:00. So if you send me a link, I'll get my monitors to promote the show for you guys.
Oh, well, thanks. We'll just go through our last few questions and get this all finished up.
Yeah.
So our last scripted thing was the favorite movie you've done and one of the least favorite ones. Understand if you can't say the least.
Well, I try not to take a heavy dump on stuff I've done because I have a lot of respect for people who finish movies. It's really easy not to finish one, and it's really easy to make fun of things that don't go well. But it's really hard to do this business, man. It's hard. And so I try not to be disparaging. There are things I make fun of that I make fun of myself in certain roles, but I try not to insult the people who, hey, man, they went out of the way and made a movie. It's hard work. It's really hard. Even harder to get it out there. I mean, I'm in dozens of things that never saw the light of day. Because it's not just making the movie. You got somebody to pay for it. You see it, put it out. Netflix is hard to snap into. Favorite movie by far is a film called Coldwar. Yeah. Very proud of that. I suggest you watch it. It's basically if Sergeant Frank Woods left the military with the rank of a colonel and took over a boys' reform school, work camp.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's a dynamite film. It's won a bunch of awards. Really proud of it. There's some TV things. Go ahead.
What about SEAL Patrol? Frank
Good
Woods
movie.
Was a SEAL.
Solid movie. Solid film. It was written and directed by a couple of veterans. Nick Mateo. I can't remember his name. Nick, but Nick, PTSD survivor, former Army Ranger. Loved working him. Great guy. That's how I met Rich McDonald, who became, and that's how we got him into Black Ops. I met him. I thought he was dynamite. He was lead the film. And from that, a relationship with him, I got him into basically help him get his talent got him the job, but I was able to, push things along a little bit in his favor. Great actor. Met him. It's a fine film. It was one of the most exciting projects in terms of the opportunities it gave me to be trained. I mean, I trained with SWAT teams, Army Rangers. We did tactical maneuvers with breach and entry. Hours and hours and hours of weapons training. I mean, like just weapon on systems like on A4s, M16s, AKs, handguns, all kinds of firearms and all kinds of tactics. And that's like, to get paid to do that is it's remarkable. Because bullets cost money. To have somebody pay for your rounds, a couple thousand rounds, and it's nice to have that opportunity. So I really appreciate that. There's a handful of other ones I'm sure out there somewhere right now. But if I pick one movie, go see it. I would say rent Coldwar. It's a good film. Yeah,
of course.
No, I got the lads to check out the trailer for it before we started. I thought it was a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see it?
I've seen clips.
Right.
No, it's basically like you playing Woods, and it's amazing.
It's basically, we shot that. It was shot literally right after I wrapped Black Ops 2 in September. We started shooting that the week afterwards. So I rolled. Actually, I was shooting both at once, and I remember we actually started shooting that in August, and I was already. I was doing double duty. So I was working at Treyarch and still working shooting the movie. So there's a lot of bleed over in that character.
Mm. No, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Also, just to check, on your IMDb it says you were in Transformers. Were you in that?
Yeah, I was just talking about that. That's where I met the Navy SEALs. Yeah, so basically in Transformers, there's a scene where the Decepticons infiltrate the Pentagon's computers by getting onto Air Force One. Scene opens up. I'm sitting there reading the newspaper. Decepticon come up, laughs at me, and then the alarm goes off, and I'm running down the hall with a gun, and I say, "This is Team Command Teams 1 and 2 report to positions. We're under attack." And a bunch of all this, elevated command, and then me and the Navy SEAL who I'd been hanging out with post up in front of the president's bedroom, and then I get a call to come down to the infiltration found on level 2. All teams can send to level 2, and they should go down with a gun, walking in and walk past the Decepticon, and so basically I worked 2 weeks to get about 27 seconds of ice time, and they cut all my lines. So so that was. But I'm in it. I'm there. I'm in for 27 seconds. I'm in it. I got some action. I got to play with a gun, and I got paid, and I ate steaks. So life is good.
What was it like working with Michael Bay?
He's great.
So-called
Master
of explosions. Yeah.
He gets a terrible rap. He's a great guy. He's respectful. He is very, very easygoing on set. He he's very, very specific. I like detail, and he has animatics, which are like cartoons at every scene, and he's very specific. He goes, "I need your gun here, under your chin, right? Yeah. No, not up here, under your chin. You're at your lip. And he'll do it till you comply, right?" And it was hard for some of the SEALs because they were being asked to do things that are technically wrong, but they're right for camera. And I kept telling them, "Look, you're the weapons guy, but I'm the actor here. Get your gun out of your face because the camera can't see you. You got the gun in your face. I know that's good technical, but if it's in your face, the camera can't see. He's not going to use the shot. They don't give a fuck. They don't care." So again, that's the difference. But yeah, he's very technical, and he's very much, and he's very kind. It's like we're doing some exterior shots up at an Air Force base up in Lancaster. It was a nice shot. It's freezing out. It's down below freezing, and and he drove his SUV up, man, his Escalade. We're kind of sitting there for come on, get inside, jump inside my truck, and that was, that's Michael Bay, man. I'm nobody at that time. I'm nobody. He's being really courteous about that. So I just thought, and again, he's just professional, good at what he does. Great line from Michael Bay. One of my greatest. Told me a lot about how to be in this business. And there's these two tall blondes. They're in the movie, and they're supposed to be kind of officers on Air Force One. And the guy who was the military advisor, these girls just weren't. They just had nothing military about them. They're too blah. They should be in bikinis in a Victoria's Secret ad somewhere. They had nothing military about them. So. The military consultant comes over, Mike, look at these two girls. Not only do they not look the part to be an Air Force One, they don't look like they even belong in the Air Force. Michael Bay, without missing a beat, he goes, "No, they're in my Air Force. I'm making this movie for the kid in Ohio someplace, right? These girls are in my Air Force. Girls, you're doing great." It's the best line of, he knows what he's making. He's not trying to win an Oscar. He's trying to do a film that, is entertaining. Transformers is not going to be an Oscar film. Never will be. But it's entertainment. You're gonna go and you're gonna watch it. You're gonna have fun. So I learned a lot about the business from him. Like sometimes my job isn't to be great. Sometimes my job is to stand there, stand my line, and get the hell out of the way. And sometimes it's not, you're just not about me. Like it's not about me. That's about them. Say your line, let the stars shine, and go collect your paycheck and go home.
Of course. I mean, wow.
No, I'm not taking a leak. I'm filling a pitcher full of water.
I'll be honest, I actually started to wonder.
Yeah, because if I could pee this long, it's a record. That'd be three. My bladder would be the size of a basketball if I could hold this much. So,
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're still going, man. It's still, yeah. See that? There you go. Almost there. A little more. There you go. Okay, I can be a goddamn fire truck if I do this. Look at me. All right, spectacular. All right, done. There you go. Ah, you man.
ladies and gentlemen, it's been James C. Burns.
Hey, J.C. Burns. Ladies and gentlemen, James C. Burns. James C. Burns.
Well, I believe.
All right, boys.
That's good enough.
Thanks a million for getting on. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Loved your stories.
Oh, good.
And thank you for serving our childhoods.
Oh, you got to rephrase that. That's gonna get. You can't say it that way.
Sorry. Well, thank you for being part of our childhood.
I was because I'm a little out of my mind. My gal and I, because we went to a therapy session together. It's go over kind of because you kind of need a referee sometimes or somebody to point out. And so we're talking about things, and she says, "Well, James had a because she knows I was a hockey coach. Said, well, James has a history. He has a history with young boys." And I go, "Well, you need to rephrase that instantly, okay? Because that's no. I have experience working with youth at risk. I don't have a history with young boys, okay? That's not. No, you can't say that."
The fucking police officers just standing outside your therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, we heard everything, sir. You're coming
Chris
with us.
Hansen.
And it's not like I'm kind of a visible. I'm a public figure. I'm not a star, but I'm a public figure. So I'm easy to track down. It's like, you can't say that. You can't say that. Especially now in America, because everything is so fraught with litigation and
You'd be better off in Europe at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They just love Americans over there. Great.
Oh yeah, we love you guys.
We're rock stars over there too, right?
Of course, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I'm gonna call quits here. It's been great. Been a ton of fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Please don't be shy to jump on the live stream and push your channel. More than happy to do that for you.
Of course.
It's today at 3:00. If you want to get on and just kind of let everybody know you're there.
What time is it where you are now? Because
right now we're
1:45, Jared. Should be, or somewhere around that time. No, 1:45.
Yeah, it should be like 1:45. So we've been out for 2 hours. So yeah.
So that's 11 o'clock for us. Yeah, we could probably do that.
Yeah, we'll be there for that.
We'll be there.
Again, all I'm saying is if you have my permission to go on and self-promote all you want on my live stream. Okay?
What a guy.
And on my channel. Knock yourselves out. I've helped a lot of people get started, so I don't mind doing that at all. It's fun for me.
We appreciate it. We've been going crazy the
so.
last while.
All right, boys. All right, boys. Have a great day.
Same
You too,
goes.
sir.
Thanks
Thanks
a
so
million.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.